Hello everyone, welcome to Worship Media. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell.
Hi everyone, how you guys doing? Please go ahead and invite as many people as possible. Give me 1 second. I want to go and pick 1 or 2 things. All right, I'll be back. Good evening, Tosin, Irede, Jennifer. How are you doing? Just go ahead and invite other people. I'm trying to set this up so we can get started. Let me see. Just go ahead and invite people. Let me play this music. Keep us busy while we're getting ready. Okay. Please help me and share this video, okay? So we can get people to come in. Yeah, Ramatu Mohammed Issa. How are you? Thank you so much. Who's fighting for his people? Free Sowore. Free Sowore. Free Sowore. You've got to free Sowore. Get him up, lock him up behind the bars. He will go away. Get him up, shut him up, lock him up behind your bars. He will go away. Chidi na he will start Boko Haram. Chidi na he kidnap people for express. Sowore say stop anything. We be saying time don't reach you now. Hear me well. Revolution now, now. Free Sowore. Free Sowore. Free Sowore. Free Sowore. Free Sowore. They Please just go on and share this video. Invite people so that everybody can get this breaking news and know the way forward. Who's fighting for his people? Free Sowore, free Sowore, free Sowore, free Sowore. All right, guys. There's a breaking news. Just this evening, the lawyers for Omoyele Sowore, Femi Falana, was served with the long-awaited accusations from the long-awaited lawsuits against Omoyele Sowore. So the DSS, as you know, they arrested him for long, and when they arrested him, they gave reasons. They were sure of why they were arresting him, and that time they had said that in a video. It is very, very important that you listen to this line of thought, or this analogy that I'm going to analysis that I'm going to be making. When they went to arrest Omoyele Sowore, this is important so that we can know how we got to where we are now. Long before they arrested Omoyele Sowore, he was very, very clear about what he was planning for the 5th of August. He said that was the beginning of the days of rage. The days of rage, that's what he said. That was the first day of the days of rage. He said this would be a continuation of agitations and resistance against the government of the day. And why did he think this was possible? He thought this was possible because of how the government was handling the issue of Nigerians. So he was very, very clear about it. He went on TV and everybody knew. And he even, give me 1 second, please. Okay. Yeah. Remember that he even did posters. He did posters about the days of rage, and it was named Revolution Now Protest. They always said Revolution Now Protest. It was going to be a protest. There was a date that it was planned, and the venue for the meeting was also included. So DSS knew, everybody knew. He was not hiding his place of residence. It was obviously visible to anybody. He was using his telephone. He was using his own telephone to communicate. So there was nothing hidden about what he was planning. He gave interviews all over the place. And 2 days before the day they arrested him, no, I think a day before that day or 2 days before that day, he did a video with Idris Abdul Karim. And in that video, he was saying that even one guy was asking that what if DSS arrests you? He was reporting what somebody said. I said the guy told them, don't worry about DSS. After the 5th of August, DSS will no longer be there. Now, it was based on that they said they went to arrest Omoyele Sowore, based on that video that he did with Abdul Karim, Idris Abdul Karim. And after that, according to the laws of the country, you can't hold a man more than 48 hours without charging him to court. We waited thinking that they were going to release him, and they gave their reasons for, he went into a weekend so they couldn't release him. Fine. Within this period, they transported him to Abuja. They flew him to Abuja. But all this time, we kept going to ask at the DSS office whether they had Sowore with them in Lagos. They denied it, and they said they didn't have him. They said they didn't even know anything about Sowore. But anyway, that's all news now. They took him to Abuja. His lawyers now demanded, hey, charge him to court. And they ran to the judge and said, we are not ready. They now said they were not ready again. When they now asked for 90 days, the judge cut it to 45 days. Since that time, they've been getting all kinds of lambasting and all kinds of lashing. Finally, when they were summoned to a court in Lagos, they quickly reframed their charges against him. But they had not come out with that official charge. They had not summoned him to court. They had not released any documents showing what they were charging him. But they were just commenting. They released a statement. That then was a statement that the reason why they were holding Omoyele Sowore was because of a meeting that he held in New York with Nnamdi Kanu. Remember, I don't want you guys to forget that. He said it was because of a meeting that he held with Nnamdi Kanu in New York. And apart from that, they also said that the reason why they held him was this guy is when I sit down to think about the way they think, it really, really baffles me. And I wonder, are these people representing Nigeria as a whole? That people see Nigeria through, that people see us through these people, through their statements, through the way they present their case. So they say because he met with Nnamdi Kanu, they are charging him for trying to overthrow the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that also he went to Dubai, and there are people that are sponsoring him. He went and met with some people in Dubai, and they gave him money to use it to overthrow the government of Nigeria. We were like, okay, since you already have this thing with you, write it on a piece of paper and let us go to court. That's what you're charging him. Charge him to court based on that. And the lawyers went back and forth. They said the day was supposed to, the day the case was supposed to be heard, they said, oh, the other lawyer had traveled, the judge had traveled on holiday. So the judge that was sitting there, one woman judge, said, no, she cannot listen to the case because the judges went on holiday. We waited. When the judges came back on holiday, 10 days after the judges came back on holiday, still, they did not transfer the case to the judge. So Sowore's lawyer was in court and he said, come now, what are you guys doing? He came and he approached the bench, approached the judge, and the judge said, my friend, stop disturbing my court. You cannot come here and be disturbing me over this issue. This is official protocol. It's not that we're doing anything. It's just taking time for them to transfer the case back to the judge, who is now back on holiday. That one passed. So the lawyer said, well, thank God that pressmen, you're here. Now you know what to write. You people are seeing what is happening. So they are deliberately delaying the case. We waited again. Finally, the 45 days that the judge gave to DSS now passed a couple of days ago. Nothing. We didn't hear anything. You didn't charge him to court. And I think maybe, you see, in Nigeria, because these guys can do and undo, I think they had just, they are just comfortably relaxed, and they are depending on the fact that they can do anything they want. So they were so confident that they would just stay, and the judge will increase the number of days that they can hold Sowore. They just want to hold him. They're not after charging him to court. They want to hold him for 4 years. That's what they want to do. I've said that a couple of times. I've said that a million times. Just like when the devil is pushing you to drive recklessly, it does not doing it because it wants you to get an accident. The reason why the devil is telling you to drive recklessly on the express is because he wants to kill you. He wants you to die. But he cannot kill you by himself. So he wants to suggest to you something that will make you do it, and then you die. So when you see DSS asking the judge to give them 90 days or 45 days, they're not doing it because they are ready in 45 days or 90 days. They are doing it because they just want to come up with a way that will make them hold Sowore for 4 years. But we are watching them. We are watching the drama, how they want to go about it. So one of their ways of doing it was just ask for 45 days. After the 45 days, obviously, when people mounted pressure, and you guys know what happened, maybe they thought that we were weakened. They were bragging that Shebi this revolution now thing is come and gone. Shebi people were shouting with this show, all of them don't tire until yesterday and 2 days ago, they saw the massive protests all over the world. All over the world. You know, they thought they were dealing with some local thing. No, all over the world. People now started talking. Letters, because a lot of you didn't know that letters were written to the United Nations, to the European Union Parliament, to so many people, to Canada, to US. A lot of these diplomatic moves were made. And when you make these things, they direct your letter, they direct your inquiry, they direct your agitation to the government involved. So these things were going on the ground. And by today, this evening, after the protest that has happened, after the expiration of the 45 days, DSS finally charged Sowore to court. You know, one thing I'm happy about, if they are really, really very, very serious, is I'm happy that at least he can go to court. And when somebody goes to court, you have to grant him bail. Even if you like, say it's 3 trillion, thousand million naira, there will be a bail bond that you put down. So let us be looking at this. See, they've tried all kinds of things. So now they have gone and they have prepared lots of charges. Remember that, and these people, they are not very smart. You can see clearly where they're going. Remember, they went and arrested Mandate. Mandate is a comrade who is in Cross River State. He wrote against the governor. He wrote against how the governor misappropriated funds. And they went and arrested him. They didn't want him to be released on bail. And then, this was something he wrote a long time ago. But during that Revolution Now protest, they went and arrested him. And they've been playing us, playing our lawyers, playing everybody. Until now, no, until they charge him. When they charge him in the charge document or whatever, I know be lawyer back, they claim that his association with Sowore, they just coiled it and brought that he was trying to do something in Cross River against the governor, and then writing things on the online blah 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 blog. And then by associating with Sowore, and he's a terrorist, he's planning to overthrow the government. So I'm not surprised that I'm going to read it for you guys. And first of all, I'm going to, so I can read it by myself. Then I will flip it again so you guys can read it. So the first page, it says, in the Federal High Court of Nigeria. Okay, let me come closer so that this was a photocopy and it's not very clear. Don't worry, I'll still flip it so you guys can read it. But it says charge number blah 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 in the between Federal Republic of Nigeria, who are the complainant, and Omoyele Stephen Sowore, who they are charging, and also Olawale Adebayo Bakari, aka Mandate, that Sowore and Mandate are the defendants in this lawsuit. And this guy says that I love me. Let me read it out because some of you might not see it clearly. Let me bring this close. Sorry. Okay, just give me 1 second. Let's bring it close. Okay, so it says that I love me, Odubo, male, an adult, Christian, Nigerian, of Department of Public Prosecution, Federal Ministry of Justice, Abuja, the agency responsible for the prosecution of this case, do hereby make oath and say that follows, that I am the litigation officer, Department of Public Prosecution, by virtue of employment, blah, 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 blah. Say that I was informed by A.K. Aliyu. Now, this is the last one that is important to us. It says that he was informed by A.K. Aliyu, Chief State Counsel, in his office at the Federal Ministry of Justice, Abuja, on Thursday at about 11 a.m. that investigation in this case is concluded by Department of State Services. So the Department of State Services, they have concluded all that their sophisticated investigation against Omoyele Sowore, they have finished right now. Okay, good. So at least we can move forward. Now, what are they saying? I will explain these things. It says at the court session by Honorable Attorney Federation, blah, 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 count number one. The first case they have against Omoyele Sowore is conspiracy to commit treasonable felony. Contrary to section 516 of the Criminal Code Act, blah, 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 C38, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and punishable under the same section of the Act. Okay? Now, particulars of the offense, that is, details of the offense. That you, Omoyele Stephen Sowore, male of blah, 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 address, blah, 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 and mandates, and others at large. So that means they are making room to be able to continue arresting and continue to bringing people in. And others at large under the aegis of Coalition for Revolution call, sometimes in August. Okay, let me go to the next page. Hold on one second. Just give me 1 second. Guys, just give me 1 second. I had to rush this for this broadcast. I want to show you exactly where this thing is coming from. So just give me 1 second, please. I have this photocopy is not where they listed all the cases against him, but one of what they were accusing him of is that he planned to. Okay, hold on. I'll soon get to it. Just give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Please, this is not very clear, but basically what they say is that you and other people yourselves, you plan to stage a purported blah 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 on the 5th of August, tagged Revolution Now, aimed at removing the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria during his tenure of office, thereby what? Okay, through unconstitutional means, that he planned to remove the President of Nigeria while he was still in tenure of office by unconstitutional means. That was count number 1. Now, count number 2, they said treasonable felony, contrary to section 41 of the Criminal Code. And now the particulars where they are trying to give the details says that you, Omoyele Sowore, of whatever date, and Olawale Adebayo, others at large, Coalition for Revolution, sometimes staged a revolution campaign on the 5th day of August, tag Revolution Now, aimed at removing the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces during his tenure of office, otherwise than by constitutional means. These two documents are the same thing now. Why are they duplicating it? Okay, count number 3. It says that you Omoyele Sowore, and of number 1 blah 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 and others at large did commit an offense to which you knowingly sent messages by means of press interview granted on Arise Television Network, which you knew to be false for the purpose of causing insult, enmity, hatred, and ill will on the person of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm coming to that. Now, number 4, that is supposed to be number 3. Number 4 is that transfer of funds contrary to Section 15 of the Money Laundering Provision Act 2011 and punishable under the same section of the Act. Now, here it says that you, Omoyele Sowore, did commit an offense to which you transferred, by means of swift wire the sum of $19,975 from your United Bank for Africa account credited by Citibank New York into Sahara Reporters Media Foundation GTB account with the aim of concealing or disguising the illicit origin of the funds. That you transferred by means of swift wire the sum of 19,000 naira and 19,000 and blah 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 from your United Bank of UBK account credited by Citibank into Sahara Reporters. I'm coming to that too. Now, count number 5. It's not very clear, but let me see if I can see that count number 5. I'm not even seeing count number 5. Let me tell you what is contained in count number 5. It says count number 5. You did commit an offense in which you transferred sums of swift blah 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 from United Bank PLC created by Sahara New York blah 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 with the aim of concealing or disguising the illicit origin of the funds. Transfer of, then count number 6, you transferred $16,975 from United Bank of Africa to Sahara Reporters Media Group. Okay, so what they are doing is just, I might not even waste my time there. So 3 things are very clear. The other ones are just repetition. 1, they accused him of embarking on the Revolution Now protest with the intention of overthrowing the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. That's number 1. Number 2, that he gave interviews to Arise Television where no, it's good we read it, where he showed that he was planning to overthrow the government. And then they now wasted a lot of time showing that he transferred money from his bank in US to UBA, and then from UBA to Sahara Reporters in GTB. So these are the offenses for which Omoyele Sowore is facing treasonable felony. Treasonable felony. When they convict, I'm not a lawyer, but what I understand is when they convict you, it carries the death penalty. It is important that people understand this so that you don't joke with these people. They are not joking. So you too, that you keep joking and you think you just come and be typing and telling us that we are joking. You don't understand what these people are doing. If they succeed in doing it with Sowore, they can do it with anybody. They did it with Kensaro Wiwa before. And before you knew it, they accused him, they passed judgment, and they hung him. They killed him. So when they are talking like this, don't joke with them. All the cases, the accusations they have against him, they don't hold any water. You know it, I know it. But they are going to put up a kangaroo trial, and they would want to get over it, finish it, accuse him, tell him that he's convicted, and then imprison him or say that he should face the death penalty. They just want him out of their way. So I need you to know this and to take this seriously. Now let us analyze the first one. You know, I was telling you people that the government, I think, is joking. The reason why they are joking is I've looked through all of these things. Where did they said it was a meeting they had with Nnamdi Kanu, or maybe that one is still coming. Maybe that one is still coming, or they've gone and investigated and it is not holding any water. That one was going to lead them into the bush. It was going to lead them to another place that maybe they will not be able to handle it. Maybe they said Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist. Maybe they said, but Nnamdi Kanu is going all over the place. He went to the United Nations. He went to the European Union. So the people that you told them that Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist, they don't accept him as a terrorist. They give him police protection. So that one is not holding water. You said he held meeting in a hotel, in an open space. They have cameras. They know very well that the hotel has cameras that showed from the car park to where they held that meeting. You guys know I was there for the meeting, so there is no need of flogging the issue. But I think somebody must have told them that this one won't fetch us anything, or it won't hold any water. So I'm not even seeing them pursuing that one, or maybe it will come back down the road. I don't know. But it's funny that based on that, we thought we would see it. We thought we would see it. Okay. The second one is, okay, so about that first one about revolution, you say he went and organized a revolution march, a protest. And so that protest was supposed to overthrow President Ibrahim Buhari, and that he was also involved in online stalking. He was writing all kinds of things online to make people hate Buhari, to cause problem for him, to give him headache, to disturb him. You know, stalking is when you're following somebody everywhere and they say, leave me. I don't want to leave them. They do that to stars and important people. Like people be following you and be right, I want to see you, I love you, or I hate you, I did this, following the person until the person wants to get melancholy. So they are accusing Sowore that all the things he's writing is giving Buhari headache. And he gave Buhari headache, so the man want to kill himself. So that's one of the reasons why they are stalking him. I say, Buhari is being stalked. But I hope they remember. And this is where it gets very interesting, because I spoke to some lawyer friends of mine. When you are accusing somebody of stalking, the only person who can prove that you are actually stalking them is the person that is being stalked. So Buhari will have to enter the witness box to tell us how he was feeling and how all of those things that they were writing was causing him melancholy. But I wish to also remind our dear president that he himself said that if he lost an election, that the blood of baboons will flow on the streets, that there will be no peace in Nigeria. And when he lost the election, that's exactly what we heard. Does he think we've forgotten about our youth corpers who were killed in the north after election because of that thing he said? And Jonathan did not even arrest him. Or we did not accuse him of causing violence, or when he with Tinubu and all of those APC people say that they are embarking on a revolution protest, nobody accused him of treason. But now the meaning of revolution protest has changed when he is the driver of the vehicle. But that's interesting. So we'll leave it there. If anybody is to be accused of saying things that has caused violence, then Buhari himself should be the one that should be facing trial. But let us, like I said, it's going to be an interesting thing. We are so happy. We thank them so much for at least, when somebody carries something for mind, they never talk. You don't know where they are going. But now when they don't talk, they've tried. Now let us go to the other one of giving interviews. You said that he clearly gave interviews. Somebody when they plan to come thief for your house, they know they go announce them now. If I want to come and rob in your house, what? I'll be a stupid, foolish man to come and say, I am going to come to your house by 4 p.m. When I come, I will knock on the gate. We'll be 4 people. When we're not finished, we will come inside and we'll go to where you keep your dress and we will get the dress and we'll pack the jewelry and we'll come and get the key of your car and we will escape from your car. We will come by 12. We will leave by 1:15 a.m. These are the names of the people that will come and steal. Isn't that the height of stupidity and foolishness? So if Sowore was going around and giving interviews about what will happen, why are you claiming that it is something that, it's not a secret plan? He told you clearly that he was going to undertake a protest march, and he said clearly what they will be demanding in that protest march. He clearly stated his conditions. So we'll see how you'll be able to prove that that protest march was supposed to overthrow the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. They will use the beret, or they will use cap, the face cap, or they will use bandana. Or did you see the protests? How many of them were carrying machine gun? How many of them use whatever? And these are the people that you are afraid they are going to overthrow the government of Nigeria. But let's park that one aside. And they now claim they give so many from their investigation, like they went and opened his bank account. They got access to his bank account. But Sowore already told us that while he was there, one of them confided in him that they were surprised. They were surprised that he didn't have as much money in his account as they thought that he had. You see, one thing Nigerians don't understand, some Nigerians don't understand. When I am a wealthy man, and I say that with all gratitude to God. I think I've been blessed, and I consider myself very wealthy. When I say very wealthy, it does not mean that you go to my account and you see millions of dollars. No. It does not mean that you go to any account I have anywhere and see large amount of money deposited. No, that's not what I consider wealth. Wealth is when I am comfortable. I can afford the things that I want for myself. I can drive the kind of car that I like. I can live in the kind of house that I like. Sorry about that. When they value my businesses, they will tell you that Chidi Mwanyang is worth this amount. There are so many factors that if you put together, that is what will make people see my net worth. It doesn't mean that I have that money in one account somewhere. So when they saw that Sowore's company was worth over $10 million, they expected to find this money in his account. And he gave them access to it. They came back and they told him that they were surprised at the amount of money they were seeing in his account. That's when you understand that Sowore invested a lot of money in the campaign that happened, if ever before they started the GoFundMe. Go and do the investigation. And the GoFundMe account is open. The public has access to it, so nothing was hidden. Now, listen to what they're accusing him, because some Nigerians will not understand when they see $20,000, $16,000, $19,000. What is that? How much? $1,000 is 300 and something thousand. This is somebody who runs a big organization with staff in New York, staff he has people in different parts of the world that do citizen report for him. You don't think it costs money when somebody gives you some piece of information, they record a video by themselves, a citizen stands somewhere, goes somewhere that is dangerous, uses their money for data, uses everything to capture that video, and he sends it to you. Go and ask Linda Ikeji whether he gives people money, even if it is transport money, even if it is stipend that you give to people to appreciate them for giving you. That means you are not taking them for granted. That means you are not using the people, because when you publish this news, you make some money out of it. So Sowore has people all over the world. That's how he gets the news that he gets. So when he makes money, he also shares this money with all of these people. That's what it is called when you share, when you pay your staff. That's what it is called. Don't you know the office that they went and shut down in Lagos, the office that they went and surrounded only a few days ago? Isn't that Sahara Reporters? Isn't that something Media Lab? Isn't that where Sahara Reporters office is? Don't they know that that place belongs to Omoyele Sowore? Don't they see that there's staff working there? Don't they see cars parked there? Isn't there somebody, security man there, that is being paid? So they now saw, they're accusing him for money laundering. And I don't even know who that person is that wrote that thing, whether he's a lawyer. Because according to what my lawyer friends have explained to me, that act has nothing to do with even private individuals. It is something to do with banks and their staff. But assuming that it is even applied to regular Nigerian citizens, you say you saw him transfer money from his account in UBA to his account, Sahara Reporters account in GTB. So he transferred, he wired money from America to an account that is his own account in UBA, and then from that UBA account he moved the money to his GTB account. And you say he's doing that to conceal money. Me, myself here, me, as they look me, I have different accounts that do different things. There are some people who are lousy that you don't want to use them for your transfers. There are some people that their transfer is efficient. So when you want to do your transfers, you use that one that is convenient for you, so that it makes the international transfer secure and safe or whatever. These people, I don't even know. It is not only through banks that right now, let me tell you if you don't know. Anybody in the diaspora, ask them. Anybody in the diaspora that sees that, they will just laugh at them. Because if I want to transfer $100,000 to Nigeria, I can transfer it without going through the banks. Of course now, everybody, if somebody has money in Nigeria, on our WhatsApp group, somebody will come and say, oh, I have money in Nigeria, or I need dollars. Anybody need dollars? They'll just contact me and say, bros, I have $15,000 that I want to send to Nigeria. So, okay, now give me the $15,000. Which bank you want me to pay it into? They'll pay it into your own. We no longer use Western Union since that today. So what is 20,000? What is 15,000 that he did over a period, or that he does regularly? Didn't you know that he ran an election? 20,000. 20,000. Meanwhile, you people thief like you thief our million, as if I knew it. Today, this afternoon, I did a video and I was saying, who are these people that eat our money? You people, every time we say you discovered $20 million in somebody's account, $20 million, $30 million, $4 billion in somebody's account, and then we will not hear the money again. We will not hear about the money again to disappear. You are accusing somebody of his hard-earned money that he worked hard and he transferred it to Nigeria to use in Nigeria. Your problem is that you saw the money move from America to Nigeria and then move from one bank to another bank. His own bank, his own account. So when I move money from here to Nigeria, you need me to show you where I got the money from. Like I need to show all the payments that I got from my. Now don't get me wrong, it's actually a standard procedure with the Central Bank of Nigeria and all of those things. Now that, excuse me, when you want to transfer some money, you need to show some documentation, even with the banks in Canada. So I'm not saying it is not done, but come on, 20,000, 15,000. We're not even talking of 200,000, 150,000. You understand? But it's okay. We'll see how that goes. So these are some of the things that they have brought against Omoyele Sowore. Like I said, I don't trust them. I've never ever in my mind believed that they will release Sowore. I don't believe it. It will take you and me and other ones like us to put them under pressure to release him. But left alone, left for them, they don't have any plans to release Sowore. And I'm saying it to make people realize what is at stake here. They want to hold him all the time of this regime, and we don't know how long. That is what their plan is. Do not be deceived. All of these gymnastics they are doing, they will try their best. But you know, the funny thing, the very, very funny thing about all this is that all of holding Sowore, all of exhibiting all these things that powers they have is because they think that they are bigger than God. But this fight will be between them and God. Let us see who will win. If they win and everything goes according to their plan, then they are bigger than God. But when they are planning to go this way and things happen the other way, I will come back to remind you people that on the 20th of September 2019 that I, Chidi, told you that God is bigger than DSS, that God is bigger than President Muhammadu Buhari, and that every plan that they had concerning Sowore scattered, was demolished. Do you know how I know it? There was a young man called Nnamdi Kanu, and they planned Python dance for him, and they went with their armored tanks against a man who didn't have one gun, and they bombarded and they killed 26 people in that compound, and they were supposed to kill him. But today, Nnamdi Kanu is walking freely, walking all over the world, going to see people, going to being invited to places, and he doesn't do that with security. So that shows me that they may be planning to keep him forever, but unless our God is not a just God, Sowore will be free sooner than we know it. But as per them, I know they want to hold him until forever if they can. So I don't trust them. So guys, I'll continue to bring you follow up on this story. It's just breaking news. It happened today, and in the days to come, we will get to hear what the lawyers are doing about it. I have this video that they accused him. Remember, they accused him of doing a video on Arise TV. I wanted to play that video so that we'll actually see what Sowore said, that they think he needs to be in prison. Now, this is that video here on Arise TV where they said he was there, and this is the reason why the federal government of Nigeria is accusing him of treasonable felony. Okay, TV play now.
You're on Arise News.
The increasing number of the death of Nigerians in the hands of herdsmen, whose origin is still a subject of conjecture, has been the source of increasing tension in the land. The friction being generated by this continues to reflect on the country's socio-political barometer quite worryingly. It's widening the fault lines among various ethnic groupings in the country. In recent weeks, various stakeholders have been speaking out against this reign of terror. Over last weekend here in Lagos, there was a beret movement, orange, I guess that's the color, right? Not red, yes. Across the city, led by a former presidential candidate during the 2019 general election, Omoyele Sowore, who now joins us to talk about this new movement and now intends to drive home the point about the government needing to sit up with it.
Guys, it is very important that you listen to this news because this is the evidence that DSS has, where you see them read that he gave out information about his plan to overthrow the government. This is where they got that evidence from. Remember, this is how they've been getting their evidence. The other one was with Abdul Karim. This one is with our right. So just listen.
The view to nipping this threat to national security in the board. Omoyele Sowore, good to have you again on the morning show.
Thank you so much for bringing
Yes,
welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You and some other Nigerians have launched what you call a revolution protest, and I see that you have the beret.
Yes.
The color is orange. What is the inspiration? Could this be the Ukrainian revolution, the orange revolution in Ukraine, which came also shortly after elections in 2005, or is the inspiration Bobby Wine, the Ugandan who chooses red beret as his own symbol of protest against the incumbent Ghana government?
I think when you say beret, it's a signal that people have decided to rebrand and go more militant regarding their position on either national or international issues. And when I mean militancy here, if you realize that after the election, we changed some of our positioning and we started using revolution now because that election showed that simple elections can no longer save Nigeria or improve Nigeria's democracy. That people must take their destinies in their hands, and that we deserve or must have a revolution in this country, particularly if we don't want war, because a lot has been done. As you mentioned, this is the most difficult time to be a Nigerian. This country is not safe, and I know people use the word generically, headsman. The way I describe it is that it's the metaphor for how people feel about being under siege at this time. So you can divide headsmen into political headsmen, economic headsmen, people who are raping the economy, who are destroying the country, destroying the country's democracy. And when it was not headsmen, they used to be called unknown gunmen. Before it was that people who were kidnapping were referred to as Niger Delta militants, regardless of where they were carried out. I think there was a time Niger Delta militants apparently went to Kaduna to kidnap the secretary to the government in Kaduna State, one high official, and drove the person to Warri. So, but now we're using headsmen. But the truth is that this country is not working. And people who are leaders of this country are incompetent, they are wicked, and they are not willing to change their ways. And they've shown clearly during the last election that they cannot even accept democratic change. They cannot allow free and fair elections to happen. They allocate votes to themselves. And there's hunger, starvation, and insecurity in the land. Government has failed. Nigeria is failed as a state. And until we take that necessary big step, not next level, Nigeria will not attain its potential. And that's why we are changing our appearances and we are changing our tone. And we are urging and mobilizing people around Nigeria to come together and do it one time.
So tell us about the march. Was it members of AAC or other people? Tell us what the agenda is. What is the ultimate objective? And you are also quoted as saying that the march was a rehearsal for what is coming up in the next few weeks and months. What should we expect?
That's correct. We are mobilizing people across the country. We're having conversation and a date will be released as to when first will happen in a series of matches that will eventually lead to what is our expectation, that this country will return to its owners, the people, and no longer being managed by the owners of Nigeria who have decided that our lives don't matter and that when we take decisions, it doesn't matter. They decide what to decide for the country. So it's up to them to decide when this will be over. But it's up to us to decide when enough is enough. And we've reached that point. We've reached a breaking point.
You were a presidential candidate of the African National Congress.
That's correct.
In the February 23 presidential election. And, at the end of the day, you got about 32,593 votes. Now, is this an expression of frustration with the outcome of that election? What you could not get through the ballot box, now you want to mobilize people to the streets to get it. Because at that time, you kept saying that, look, the people in government in Nigeria have failed the people. And you had a slogan, to take the country back.
Yes.
So the ballot box failed you. Now you want to take the country back through the streets. Is that the agenda?
No, I'm not. It would be wrong to say that this frustration. All of us are frustrated with Nigeria. I ran an election, and they allocated some votes to me. There was no election. Yes, there was no election. Everybody knows that. That's the reason why we're stepping up now. That it is clear that voting is no longer going to solve the problem in Nigeria. So taking it back at that time is still taking it back now, but stepping on top to make sure that there's an urgency attached to it, because nobody's safe in this country anymore. Nobody's got jobs, nobody can feed, nobody has hospitals to go to, nobody can sleep at night, without your two eyes open. This is the worst place to live in the world today. It's very sad. But we cannot continue to lament. We can't continue to agonize. We have to organize. And
I want to know what you mean by there was no election. And also in your manifesto, when you were running your campaign, on the area of security, you said you would, as president, have increased policing and ranching as a solution. So can we now discuss that? What do you want the government to do? Clearly, the government is failing to do what you...
I am not here as a government advisor. I brought out a lot of ideas during the election that they stole, but couldn't implement. That's why we are in this mess now.
Yeah, but what would you like to see? Not as a government advisor, as a citizen of Nigeria.
I'm not here to tell you what I want to see. I'm telling you what I want to do.
There needs to be solution.
The solution is for us to have a revolution. That's the solution right now. That's what I'm here to discuss. I'm not here to. We're not going back to the campaign. We've campaigned. We've tried our best. They didn't allow elections to hold. Everybody has come to a conclusion that there was no election. The elections were badly mismanaged. And what you just did is that people went to vote at the polling units. They moved the elections to collation centers and allocated themselves votes.
Well, what you are trying to do,
yes,
that's call out the people onto the street.
Yes. To what end? What is the ultimate purpose?
The ultimate end is
has a purpose.
Is for the people to take back their country and take back the democracy.
And what would that look like?
What would it look like when it happens? You know.
Well, we have seen it in Sudan.
Yes.
We have seen it in Algeria. We have seen it in Egypt. We've seen the Arab Spring.
Yes.
We've seen the Occupy movement elsewhere. I guess that's what you're trying to do. Now, it may have worked in other places. How optimistic are you that Nigerians will follow you and go to the streets? Because if you are able to achieve the momentum that we saw in Algeria, Sudan, Arab Spring, and the Occupy movement, maybe you'll be able to make a difference. You think Nigerians will come onto the streets?
Nigerians have been coming onto the street. In fact, in 2012, Nigeria had the biggest Occupy movement in the world when Occupy was the main thing. So, but we failed at that time because there was no proper planning, I would say, or an anticipation of where it should go. Because even revolutions deserve to be macromanaged after the success of a revolution. And that's where we are different in this case. The person who is sitting in front of you has tried to be president of Nigeria. That means I have an agenda in place. I have people I can work with, and people are working with us, and people are hearing us all over the world. They have come to the conclusion that enough is enough. And with regards to whether Nigerians will follow me or not, that is not what I'm here to preach. I'm here to say this is what we want. And I'm sure that there are a lot of Nigerians out there, millions of Nigerians who are frustrated at this point, who no longer have confidence in our leadership, in the leadership of this country, and they want a different country. And we're here to give life to that. And we're calling on all of them, wherever they may be, that we better do this one time so that we don't have to do it in pieces, because we find ourselves in pieces the way things are going on. Nigeria is on the precipice. So to avoid war, let's go for a revolution. Instead of going for a prolonged war, let's go for one-day action that will save our country. And that's what I'm preaching. That's what I'm here to talk about. and I'll continue to talk about until we achieve it.
No, I ask you the question, advice, because in Nigeria, activism, yes, is one thing, but being able to mobilize the people is another. When you try to mobilize people in Nigeria, they throw up questions about ethnicity, about motive, about religion, right? So, what strategy do you have in place? Or are you just doing this alone, or you have some other allies who are buying into your narrative and who truly believe, either in the political class or the professional class, that the time has come, truly, as Sowore is insisting, to take back Nigeria?
Doc, you know me for close to 30 years. And I was one of the student leaders in this country that mobilized against the military. At times we had over 1 million people on the streets of Lagos that drove the military out of power. I'm not talking about just one military general. Started from Babangida, we drove him away. Shonekan came, not military, but a stopgap measure. We drove him away in 82 days. We stayed on the streets in this Lagos and all over the country for 82 days. Abacha came, one of the worst military generals in terms of repression. We took him out. So this is not new. I'm not a newbie in the business. But I'm not going to be coming on TV to be telling you strategies about the revolution. That would be stupid of me to do that. But I'm telling you that people all over this country and Nigerians all over the world have gotten to a point of no return. And we will have to make the sacrifices. I'm telling you, we can be sitting here by analyzing the issue and paralyzing ourselves with analysis about religion, about ethnicity. These things are real, but they will not stand in the way of the revolution that is coming, because hunger don't know ethnicity, insecurity don't know religion, and every other cleavages or division or things that divide us they were created by the same objective conditions that we are going to fight against. Because at the end, when Nigeria becomes a better place, it won't matter where you come from.
But what will you say to those who allege that the political killings are really exaggerated and that they're politically motivated to, make this government look bad?
So somebody is going to tell you that Boko Haram is exaggerated, or the banditry is exaggerated, or the fact that 10 people were killed in Buhari's home state, Katsina, yesterday is exaggerated, or the fact that the daughter of a Afenifere leader was killed on a highway, assassination style, is exaggerated, or the fact that you can't travel from Lagos to Ore without a kidnapper relaying you on the road, or the fact that police officers, SARS, are killing people is exaggerated, or the fact that somebody has been detained and courts have asked them to be released and we refuse and reject court position is exaggerated. The country is falling apart. Why are we deceiving ourselves?
We have to take a short break. But I would like to ask you a question.
Yes.
President Buhari says, those who criticize. I'd like to ask you a question.
Yes.
President Buhari says, those who criticize as you are doing are unpatriotic. And he also says, they don't seem to understand the issue. Are you unpatriotic? When we come back, you answer that question. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Here with us in the studio is the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress during Nigeria's 2019 general election, who is now leading a revolutionary movement to take Nigeria back, he says. Before we went on break, I said, President Buhari says critics are unpatriotic. Are you unpatriotic? And are you afraid that, now that you are calling for a revolution and you are saying you will move people to the streets, you will become a subject of special interest for the security agencies who may decide to just move against you because you are challenging the system?
I've been a subject of special interest for 30 years. I became a subject of special interest at the University of Lagos since 1992, and eventually 1993. It depends on where the pendulum is swinging, but I don't think there's never been a time in my life in the last 30 years I was not subject of special interest. My name had been permanently put at the airport as a security risk to this nation for 30 years. There's no point wasting our time discussing whether security agencies are interested in my views or position. They've always known me to be like this. I've been consistent like this. And I'm not worried about how they think about me. I'm worried about how we can save this country and how we can even save the security agencies themselves, because it's obvious that they too are unsafe. They are unable to carry out their activities due to also the handicaps brought upon their work by terrible leadership in the country. You've reached a point in this country where the chief of army staff says that the reason they can't defeat Boko Haram is because soldiers are poorly motivated, and the soldiers are saying, no, you are the one who refused to equip us because of corruption at the highest levels of government. So, and the issue of patriotism, I don't waste time on discussing patriotism. It's a jargon that leaders use as it suits their own agenda. The person who is patriotic in a nation is a person who wants the nation to function, not people who are dragging down the nation and preventing the country from attaining its potential. Those are the unpatriotic people. So, but I don't want to waste my time discussing who's a patriot.
So we have images there of you addressing the march yesterday in Maryland. Can you tell us more about that?
I was there before yesterday. So we had a march, and it was a rehearsal to actually launch our Orange ad and to let people know that we'll be doing several other things in the next few days, weeks, and months to come until we achieve our total objectives of ensuring that there's first revolutionary consciousness and a physical revolution in this country, because we need it. And like I said, you don't have to worry about me now. You should worry about the country.
Well, you've been on the front line of activism for 30 years, as you've said.
Yes.
So you are aware of the criticism that's made of Nigerians, that Nigerians can be quite resigned, even in the face of poor governance, social issues, lack of infrastructure, just a whole gamut of disasters. We tend to just take a very resigned, God day position. What is your view of this, and how do you plan to galvanize people?
Well, it is true, but I'm also coming with experience in doing some of these things. You should also accept that Nigerians haven't had the kind of leadership in the revolutionary sector to mobilize them. There are a lot of young people who would rather have a better country than sit around and be watching, a reality TV show that numbs them, or spend their time, watching teams playing soccer that have no bearing on their lives. If you don't provide the leadership, then you should not be blaming a complacent citizen. People can be complacent when they don't have the right motivation to do work. But there's also a case to be made of the fact that over these years, they've also destroyed and dehumanized our people so well or so much that people don't even know what they're entitled to as citizens. But it was the same in Sudan. They rose one day. It was a lady, or a number of ladies that started it in Sudan, and people criticized them. They said, how can women lead a revolution? And that was why they were successful, because they just thought, this is just women. After a while, they get tired. The same thing that happened in Nigeria, where I think they had an 82-year-old leader that has been around forever. He was sick. Nobody ever saw him, but he kept running for election from hiding. And people got tired of it. It has to be that people are tired and they step out of whatever complacency or complacent situations they are, or fear. They overcome their fear. Step out one time. Look, Shiites, the Shiites in Abuja,
the Islamic movement.
Yes, the Islamic movement of Nigeria. One day decided that because their leaders were detained and judgments had been given for them to be released, or orders, and the government did not respond. They went to the National Assembly. If they had 1 million of them, they probably would have taken over the National Assembly that day and changed the narrative about, popular power. So I'm not saying that I'm going to...
As was the case in Hong Kong.
Yes. So Hong Kong also did it. And all these things were carried out by the same young people who people said were complacent in those countries. In fact, Sudan, as a matter of fact, was a surprise to everyone, because nobody thought, including the president of Sudan, that a day will come that he will find himself in prison, and in a revolution that was planned, executed by women, mostly women, and also medical doctors, right, professionals. So we just need to do what other people do, and as I said, we don't need to be discussing the strategies on air, because the strategies need to be where they belong.
But let's talk about this beret. Yes. I'm interested in it. It's orange, but it has also the logo of the African Action Congress,
yes,
which is like a partisan label.
Yeah.
Are you not concerned that if you try to mobilize other people, they may be reluctant to identify with the AAC? Shouldn't it have been, neutral, politically neutral design? That's one. Two, will it be correct to say that, you are launching this as a way of reaffirmation, considering the fact that in March, some members, the National Executive Committee of the AAC, suspended you and 7 others for 6 months from the party. And then, of course, they went to court. And on Friday, Justice Nyageko's court, Federal High Court in Abuja, confirmed that your suspension and that of your deputy and others was, the product of a valid process, and that you had also pointedly refused to defend the suit. So is this a way of showing that we are still there, and will it be correct to say you are a factional leader who is still trying to assert himself?
That's incorrect.
Okay.
The reason it's incorrect is that I have been talking about revolution now. As soon as the elections were over, you can go and check my Twitter handle, and you'll have seen that this has been my posture and position. I'm a member of AAC. I'm the founder of AAC. But to address your position on whether others will accept this because it has a logo of AAC, no, you don't have to wear the red beret. The orange beret because of the revolution. Now you can come with your own logo on it. It's just a symbol of the kind of resistance we have at this time. And to address also your issue about Justice Young, we've been very, very clear that was a miscarriage of justice. We defended the suit, but the judge said that my defense was not tenable to him because the lawsuit was filed on May 14. I left Nigeria on May 12th. And when I left Nigeria and I was alerted to the fact that the lawsuit was filed, first they had a show on TV where they said I was suspended alongside with the others you mentioned as I was landing in New York. And when I heard about it, we briefed our lawyers, and the lawyers, I sent them a page of my passport to show that this is the day I left Nigeria. But guess what? The judge would not even allow us to have a CTC of the claims made against us. But he granted a page of my passport to be taken to the Rivers State Tribunal, where they use my claims or counterclaims in his court to frustrate the tribunal case against Wike by one of our members in AAC. So I don't need to wear a red beret to show that I'm the founder of AAC. I don't need to tell anybody that I'm the founder of AAC. You knew it. You followed. I spent a lot of time in this studio during the election. And AAC was formed in August 2018 by myself and other members of the party. But I found that
accusing you of misappropriation of funds.
Yeah, no, there's nothing like that. In fact, I'm the only presidential candidate, that's smear campaign, presidential candidate to have released a breakdown of all the spending. When both the amount of money I raised and the amount of money that was spent, I released a breakdown a month ago. Not only did I release the breakdown, it's available online, Sowore2019.org, so that if anybody want to challenge the breakdown of spending, the accounting that I made, you can go there and point it out. It's available. So it's just to smear us as leaders that this was brought up. There's nothing like that.
Well, thank you very much.
We raised the money and accounted for it.
Thank you very much. And you've been able to explain a lot of things, which I think will also be useful to our viewers.
All right, guys, let's come back to me and close. Thank you so much for staying with us. I just wanted to point out that this video was done a very, very long time ago. That was after Omoyele Sowore went back to Nigeria after elections. He came to US and then he went back to Nigeria. And this was when they were launching the orange beret. They started from, someone put a logo of the African Action Congress, but immediately after that they realized that that was not the way to go, and since then they have changed the brand of the logo. They've changed the logo, and I'm sure a lot of you, that's why I put it up there. It's just Revolution Now thing with someone breaking chains. So that is the video that they're going to use, or that they're trying to use to to charge him to court, and we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much again for being with us, and we'll keep you updated. From Worship Media in Toronto, this is Chidi signing out. Bye-bye.